Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
It is Tuesday, the 6th day of April, 2010. We're going to be live here for the next 4 hours. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura will be joining us live in the last hour of the broadcast. We have our once-a-month visit with Mike Rivero, fellow GCN host, and he heads up whatreallyhappened.com. He will be joining us coming up in the second hour today. Now, obviously, everyone is talking about WikiLeaks and the video released that was shot live from an Apache gunship in 2007 in Iraq. And it shows several Reuters reporters with video cameras walking around in a street. And the gunship opens up on them and kills them. One of them's crawling wounded. They make jokes about it and then fire into his body, killing him. Then a minivan pulls up. They clearly get out of the car. There's children in the car leaning out watching. They're getting one of the wounded people to put him into the vehicle, and they fire into the vehicle. Then about 10 minutes later, U.S. forces, ground forces in Bradley show up and go over and get the wounded children and report back that they'd shot children. And you hear the Apache helicopter pilots say, well, they shouldn't have kids in a battle zone. You mean in the middle of a built-up city area? Shouldn't have them in a battle zone, pulling up in a minivan to pick up dead and wounded reporters and put them in a car? And this speaks to the dehumanization of the military, how it's all just a big video game now. You notice the ground forces show up and actually have to look at the dead and dying people and the wounded children. And so they have empathy and began grabbing the children and trying to take them to get medical aid. The U.S. military then refused to give them medical aid, told the ground soldiers to basically just go dump them off at an Iraqi police barracks with a substandard care. But this is just par for the course. And, of course, in the New York Times today, the Pentagon's now admitting they lied about massacres in Afghanistan. Well, they lied about killing Pat Tillman. That was a hit. He was writing letters back to his father, his mother, his brother, his family, saying, when I come home, I'm going to expose this war as a fraud. So they said, we got to kill this boy. He's been our poster child, but now he's not. We've got to get rid of him. Also, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer is on record on MSNBC stating that this violated rules of engagement on multiple fronts, but especially once you had wounded on the ground. And you hear the military lying, saying, oh, look, they've got guns. They're picking up weapons as they pick up a person who's wounded, clearly. And so there they are framing them on the video, on the gun camera. This is reminiscent of cops caught on their own squad car video going, I'm going to frame this guy, okay? I'm going to give the signal. They walk over and reach in their pocket and go, ooh, here are the drugs. And you see the whole thing on tape. But it's a video game. These guys are trying to show off and get the high score like they're playing Galaga or something in 1986 at a pizza shop. This is not Galaga. This is not Space Invaders. This is not Zaxxon. This is not Doom. These are real people. And remember, most of these guys are going to be coming back here to the United States. They're going to be returning to the United States and becoming police officers. And I said that in a video that I shot last night when I first saw this footage. I got very, very angry about it. I make that point. It's posted up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. The video the Pentagon never wanted the public to see, that these guys are going to be cops coming back to the U.S. And lo and behold, there are cops in the comments posting, hey, what's the big deal? You're a traitor, Alex. This is great patriotism. There's people saying, I'm going to school to be a cop. First, I'm going to Iraq. I can't wait to run your life. to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We have multiple versions of the unedited 18-minute gun camera footage from Iraq. Now, YouTube has been flagging and pulling the videos. They have a little tattletale system where if someone says something is dangerous to the community or disturbing, it's erased. They always leave the videos of people sawing heads off up there, but the footage of them throwing puppies off cliffs, throwing hand grenades at dogs, shooting old dogs and laughing about it, killing children and laughing about it, sitting off the highways, randomly shooting up vehicles full of families and laughing as they fall out of the cars, wounded, dead, and dying. YouTube and other major video sites just keep snatching them down, pulling them down, blocking them from public view. We're trying to edit out all the cuss words and the GDs out of it because it's got the mission controllers that are watching the gun footage back at the base, along with the pilots, just with a solid stream of cussing and laughing and enjoyment. People dead and dying, crawling around on the ground, vehicles running over their bodies, children being machine gunned with the troops laughing. Then ground troops show up and see the splattered children, and they report, we've got children that you've shot here, to which the pilot says they shouldn't be in a battle then. And that's, I've seen footage of police in Oregon and other states where you'll have a few thousand peaceful anti-war demonstrators at a permanent rally, and the cops will show up, run over and pepper spray into the baby carriage, into the stroller, and the parents say, why are you attacking the baby? And they say, listen, bleeper, you shouldn't bring a baby to a protest. See, it's always how it's your fault. And so a minivan pulls up minutes later. It's trying to pick up wounded people to put it in, take them to the hospital, Reuters reporters, and they open fire on the van. And then they say, well, it looks like there's a little bit of movement inside the van. They pound it full of high caliber rounds to where the van starts spinning and slams through a brick wall, but the children are still moving, so they open up on them again and are just giggling and laughing and enjoying it. It shows the bloodthirsty bloodlust. I mean, it's one thing if you've got to kill people, but it's the giggling, the demonic snickering, the incredibly unprofessional. And, of course, under the Geneva Convention, under the rules of war, as Tony Schaefer, Colonel, has already pointed out, who's been in combat in both these countries, that is a clear violation of the rules of engagement and their orders, that once people don't have weapons in their hands, which they never did, and once they're on the ground and wounded, or once an ambulance is there, you don't open fire on anyone trying to retrieve wounded. But they don't care. You got the little kids looking out the window when their dad pulls up and gets out to put the Reuters reporter in the car. And you can just see the little kids' faces. And I don't normally get so mad that I can't control myself. But last night, I'm up here working at about 6:30. And Jason Burmis comes in and says they've released the WikiLeaks video that WikiLeaks said the last 2 weeks they were going to start releasing gun camera footage from drones in Afghanistan and drones in Iraq and helicopters in both countries. And I went and I watched it. And when I saw the little kids looking out the window and I heard the helicopter pilot breathing heavy and smacking his lips and giggling psychopathically as he opens fire with the crosshairs right on the little children, I went ahead and started punching one of these heavy lockers we've got and bashed the whole door in. I was able to later fix part of it. Just because I had to let off some type of primitive steam at watching men 2 miles away in safety just laughing and giggling and snickering. And this is the Iraqis